Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel all about BI. This is going to be a continuation session of Azure Data Factory interview questions part 1. Okay, so this is primarily going to be about data flow, mapping data flow, performance tuning tips. Most of us would be using mapping data flows for doing some kinds of transformations from source to sink. Okay, and it's important for us to know about how well our mapping data flow is performing. If it's not performing well, then we are going to end up paying more for using the Spark clusters which are used to run our mapping data flows. Okay, with respect to a data flow, performance can sink in any part of the data flow, be it in source, while reading the data, or while doing the transformations, or while writing it to sink. So there may be chances for us to have issues in any part of these three places. So the first thing that we need to do is identifying the area of bottleneck. How to do that is, when you click outside data flow and look at the details of the execution, you will get to know about execution time taken for each step of your data flow. Okay, since I have a very simple data flow, I don't have it split for multiple areas of data flow, but if you have too many data flows and all, you will get to see which part of transformation or which part of the data flow takes more time. So we have to identify that first in order to fine tune the mapping data flow. Okay, so the time taken by mapping data flow also includes cluster startup time, which is nothing but starting to run the Spark cluster to make our mapping data flow run. Okay, alright, so this is the first thing that we have to do in order to understand how our data flow works. Alright, so coming back to my slide. So once we have understood about the mapping data flow, and if there is a necessity, we have to leverage the partitioning option present in the source or sink or in transformations too. So when you go back to your pipeline and click on any part of your mapping data flow and go to optimize tab. So I'm clicking on source now and clicking optimize. I'm getting to see some partitioning option. Similarly, I'm going to sink, clicking on optimize. I have partitioning option here as well. Similarly for transformations. So it means that mapping data flow can face issue in any part of the data flow. So we have to identify the bottleneck area and we have to leverage the partitioning option available. What Microsoft suggests is, by default, don't change any partitioning, because Data Factory itself is able to manage the partitioning of the underlying data or data flow. Okay, so for every 128 MB of your data, a partition will be automatically created by Data Factory itself. That is why we have to leave it to current partition in most of the cases. Okay, if there is a necessity, for example, you have a data from a source and you want to split the data to multiple partitions, because you have to process those partitions, or you have further steps which will be accessing those partitioned files. For example, I have a database of employees, and I'm going to use my mapping data flow to split the employees based on region. Okay, and further those region based partition files will be processed by my big data related Databricks or something. Okay, so if that is the case, we'll have to split the data into multiple partitions, and for that we can go to the set partition which is available, set partitioning option. So when you click on set partitioning, you will have various ways or various types in which you can split your data or partition your data. So this we have already discussed in one of our earlier videos. If you have time, please go through that so that it will be easily understandable. Alright, so the first thing we have to keep in mind is, we have to leave the current partition as such unless and until it is performing really slow. So if the mapping data flow is taking too much time with the current partitioning, you can try with other partitioning options. Okay, this is one thing. And if need be, as I told you, we can choose or we can go with different partition type. And this is not the case with Azure SQL DB or data warehouse. Okay, with respect to Azure SQL data warehouse, if you by default, when you have Azure SQL source or Azure SQL sink, you will have one more option here called source partitioning, which is exclusively or especially or exclusively available for Azure SQL databases. Okay, so we can leverage that option for Azure SQL related data stores. Alright, one more recommendation from Microsoft is, we have to avoid using data flow inside a for each loop. For example, assume I have files like, I'll show you. Okay, so I have files called moviesdb.csv, and I have similar files for different dates. For example, moviesdb_feb, moviesdb_march, moviesdb_April, or month based moviesdb information. So the structure of the files are going to be similar, and the transformations those files have to undergo are all similar. So what I can do is, normally what we'll immediately think of is, I'll have a for each loop and I'll loop through each file one by one. Okay, but that's not recommended. So what we can instead do is, we can make use of the delimiter option or wildcard option, which is wildcard option, which is available in the source options. So when you click on source, there is a wildcard path available wherein I can point to my folder name. In my folder name, I can just say star.csv. Okay, provided I just have the movies db file alone in my input file, and all of the files present in the input folder are all having same structure, and they are all going to be transformed similarly. Okay, so instead of having a for each loop and putting one data flow inside a for each loop, it's always better to go with this wildcard option. Okay, that's what I have mentioned to be avoid using data flow inside for each loop. Okay, and with respect to file based data stores, like what is recommended is handling Parquet files, okay, or Parquet files, however it is pronounced, because Parquet files are the native files built for or created for running in Spark clusters. So when we have data in Parquet files, then that's going to be optimized for execution. Okay, so whenever possible, try to convert your data to Parquet format and then start processing in the mapping data flow activity. Alright, one more place where we can spend time is in logging. So when coming back to the data flow, basic details, or there are different types of logging options available. Verbose is the default option. Okay, so when you click on this eye, it will tell you clearly what each option means. Okay, so verbose is for each partition that is being created by the data flow, you are going to log all the details of all the partitions, complete mapping data flow. Okay, so again, if you are logging all the details for all the partitions, then it's going to consume some time. So whenever possible, just go for basic level of logging. Okay, so wherein you will not log the partition based details, and just provides the high level information about the mapping data flow, and none will be telling about number of records read and number of records written. That's all. It's not going to tell anything else. So according to your requirement, just make sure you are using either basic or none. Okay, so this is one more thing that we can consider while designing the mapping data flow. And one other thing that they are telling with respect to verbose is, since it logs everything, all the basic details of all the partitions, it will be very useful when you are going to troubleshoot some issues with respect to mapping data flow. That is what they are recommending us. Alright, and one final thing that I came across is, if you have a data flow activity which is having too many transformations between source and sink, what is recommended is break it down to multiple data flows and give it to different Spark clusters basically. So internally, for every mapping data flow, one Spark cluster will be assigned. So when you have multiple data flows, each data flow will get its own cluster, and internally it will be taking less time to process as a whole. Okay, so this is what is recommended. There are various other points to consider with respect to each type of the data store that we are handling. For example, for Cosmos DB, for Azure SQL database, or for file based. So we have different set of recommendations given by Microsoft in their site itself. So if you have time, just go through it, because it's very important we know about these basics. So for interview perspective, if you know all these basic things itself, it will be helpful. And if you have any comments or questions, you are welcome to provide it in the comment section. Thanks a lot for watching. In the next video of the interview series, I'll be posting more such performance related questions. Alright, thanks a lot.